Give us his insights on the top picks of this year's NBA draft is none other than Sports Desk basketball analyst, point laureate coach Ronnie Magsanoc, who was also a high draft pick back in the 1988 PBA draft. Tama ba?
Jurassic era.
Good morning, Coach. Welcome back to the program. Fun topic today, talking about the NBA draft. Let's do it, Coach. Top 5, unahin na natin yung nasa number 5, Darius Garland goes to Cleveland. Last year, they picked Colin Sexton. And I heard Adrian Wojnarowski earlier said na kumbaga, it's still young to tell, pero pwedeng maging Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum ng Cleveland daw itong si Garland and Sexton moving forward for Cleveland.
I believe this two might combine to be a very productive backcourt. But going back to Garland, ito yung self-proclaimed best guard of the draft. Remember that he hurt his knee doon sa kanyang kaisa-isang nilarong taon sa USNCAA. But because of his potential and the upside in his overall game, there were no doubts for the Cavaliers to pick him. Kaya lang, the franchise is a team that is looking for a better direction. This was a franchise that was in the finals for a long period of time. But the departure of not only LeBron James, but even David Griffin has seen this team to eventually lose its compass. Let's see if this selection will stabilize this team, because right now, that's the reason why they are a lottery team. Walang nangyari last year. Very talented, former Lakers still in the fold with Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr., but cannot get it done. Even Sexton for that matter, masyadong konti ang materyales, masyado pang maliit ang mga baraha.
Coach, ano makukuha ng Cleveland from Darius Garland here? Ano yung kumbaga yung floor, yung ceiling niya? Ano yung best player that he could be? And ano naman yung kumbaga floor, yung worst ceiling, that yung worst possible scenario para dito kay Garland?
Well, I believe he is legit NBA talent. One, very thin but ultra quick. So that's the upside in his game. But it fits yung team na pupuntahan niya kasi walang go-to player. Talagang quickness, talagang youth, yun ang bala. So, I guess, it's not a gamble, but sa akin, ang overview para sa akin, half of the NBA have expiring contracts. Free agents. Kasi ito yung tina-target nila na year. And next year, yung Supermax deal. So, this is the best chance for the young blood to make their mark. Kasi there will be a lot of spin cycle going on throughout the NBA in the days to come.
And speaking of yung mga spin cycles, eto na, yung number 4 pick this year originally sa LA Lakers and then traded kasama doon sa Anthony Davis deal, napunta sa New Orleans, and now nakuha naman ng Atlanta. Atlanta last year, if we remember, also made a deal during the draft. They traded away the number 3 pick, which ended up to be Luka Doncic sa Dallas, and then they got Trae Young. Now, Atlanta gave up their 8th, 17th, and 35th pick to get the 4th pick, which they used on the DeAndre Hunter. Sabi daw, Atlanta Hawks GM Travis Schlenk really likes this kid. And parang gustong i-pair with that young core of John Collins, Trae Young, and now you have Hunter.
You also have to throw into the mix si Kevin Huerter, who was taken 19th last year. So he was a high first-round pick. And it panned out for them. Yung Trae Young at Luka Doncic na galaw, it also worked well for them dahil these two are jockeying for the Rookie of the Year award for this NBA season. I believe that they needed this piece. A big man who's a versatile big, was that massive wingspan. So they're looking at a rim protector, an agile big man, and perhaps also in the template of John Collins. Kasi ganun na yung mga tinitignan di ba? Si Pascal Siakam, mga mobile bigs. Yes, who can...
positionless basketball.
Yes, exactly. Who can shoot from the outside, go downhill, defend multiple positions. And I think Hunter has worked his way to getting to be in the top 5 picks of the NBA.
Now, player comparison for DeAndre Hunter and also yung ceiling and yung floor niya.
Player comparison, alam mo, para sa akin, sa Thaddeus Young can be a good compare para dito.
Thaddeus Young now with the Pacers,
sa 4th pick. Downside may be a little raw at this stage, but when you talk about youth, some are 18, most are 19, so the age is not a problem. Ang question mark ko lamang is, some have played only one single year in college, not even 40 games last year. So will they be durable enough to play 82 games for the season with all the banging and the back-to-back games throughout the NBA? But he will get the playing time and he will get the exposure that he needs to become a legit NBA star.
Let's go now to R.J. Barrett. Will he be the one to save the New York Knicks? Canada's own R.J. Barrett, inaanak ni Steve Nash. He goes to the Big Apple, and unlike previous drafts, walang nagbu dito. You know, there were even banners. Kay Barrett, walang nagbu sa New York. And people actually like him there. So New York, they're happy. He has roots also in New York. Perfect ba itong si RJ sa New York Knicks, Coach?
Number one, you have to take a look at the needs of the team that drafted him. This is a team that lost Porzingis already because of the big trade last year. So this is also a team that is looking for direction. Remember that the valuation of the New York Knicks, nasa top 3 to in terms of yung value ng franchise, hindi lang ng mga players.
Oh, yeah.
So they need to fill up this roster with the dynamic players, and RJ Barrett fits that description really well. Aside from Zion Williamson, ito lang yung na-mention na posible sanang maging
Number 1.
Yes.
Yeah. He was rated number 1 actually.
Correct. So I think this is a steal at number 3 for New York, and they can build this team around RJ Barrett. Shooting guard of the year last year. Excellent numbers, tremendous upside. And again, I believe that his game is tailor-made for the NBA. Another question, as I've mentioned earlier, is yung durability. Kasi aside from Zion Williamson, hindi sila malalaki, hindi sila makakapal pa. But he's only 19. And once again, probably this is the next wave of young Turks about to launch their careers in the NBA.
He loves going his left. He's a left-handed player.
Magaling.
Sinong player comparison mo dito?
Sabi Chris Middleton, sabi Danny Granger. I think he's an element of his own because he's a real talent. Very smart with his shot selection at solid numbers. Remember, he played under a very good mentor, and when you play under that team, sanay ka na merong sistema, sanay ka na organized. So discipline is already there. So good working habits, good work ethics, definitely for those coming from this school.
Let's move to the number 2 pick, wherein just
Jose ito.
after a few days lang na tinrade niya si Mike Conley ng Memphis
Jose
Grizzlies. I think it's officially safe to say na wala na yung grit and grind era, na wala na si Mark Gasol, wala na si Tony Allen, tatakbo na, o run and gun na with their young guns. Of course, Ja Morant from Murray State, Coach. You know, it really made sense na they're getting a young point guard as athletic as Ja Morant after trading Mike Conley. Your thoughts on this pick, Coach?
This is, I think, a well-thought plan for the Grizzlies, turning a new direction. Tapos na yung mabagal na laro sa NBA, you have to adapt to what is successful, and I believe this is a major piece in their turnaround. No more Mark Gasol, no more Mike Conley, no more Zach Randolph. So no more walking the basketball. And when we talk about pushing the basketball, Ja Morant is going to be one of the best. Ang galing maghanap ng pasa. I believe since the 80s, 83-84 season in the NCAA, the first player to average 20 points and nearly 10 assists per game. Unheard of. So that's the kind of game that he's going to bring to the Memphis Grizzlies. And normally you build your franchise around big players or scoring small shooting guards or small forwards. Pero ito, I think he is a very good anchor para sa Memphis Grizzlies in the many years to come. Remember, investment ng Memphis kay Mike Conley is over $100 million.
A big contract, yeah.
But they turned a new leaf, and I think this is going to be their main architect in the years to come.
They have that kid that they drafted last year, the forward. Na pwede nilang i-pair dito kay Ja Morant. It's a young future here for the Grizzlies. Sinong player comparison, quickly, ni Ja Morant, Coach?
Ito yung pwede mo sabihin sila, Mo Williams.
Mo Williams,
Yes,
okay.
very dynamic, good isolation player. But more than that, he makes his teammates...
Sabi parang
really
Westbrook nga daw maglaro itong batang to.
Manipis pa.
Okay.
Ulitin ko. Si Westbrook kasi nung dumating, makapal na
Yeah,
diba?
yeah,
Hindi lang makapal yung katawan, makapal talaga. Kasi matindi yung paniniwala sa But this player is going to be really successful, I believe, sa kanyang NBA career.
Yun, yung Jaren Jackson na pwedeng makatandem nitong ni Ja Morant. We saved the best for last. We have a whole gap to talk about Zion Williamson, the first, the top overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, whom I believe parang walang ganitong hype sa player na to since LeBron James. Yung high school pa lang, before entering college, he had 1 million followers on Instagram already. The hype is real with this kid. He's 6'6", 6'8", so 280 pounds. Zion Williamson, and analysts say he's a once-in-a-generation talent. Does he deserve kumbaga, does he deserve all the hype that we're giving him?
Let's put it this way. It made the decision of the Pelicans easier to let go of Anthony Davis. Kasi ang projected #1 pick ay si Zion Williamson. And he's played more than well enough to deserve this kind of hype. Alam mo, nahirapan nga silang humanap ng comparison eh. Danny Green ba? Draymond Green ba?
Air
Charles
Barkley.
ba?
Air Barkley.
Blake Griffin pa? Kasi with that size and that quickness, sabihin mo twinner, sabihin mo undersized, matchup problem siya eh. He impacts the game on both ends of the floor. Right. Yeah. And it's going to be a huge matchup problem in the days to come, the moment he sets foot in the hardcourt for the Pelicans. Ano eh, parang beast. Tapos, para kang naglagay nung katawan ng
man-child eh.
Hindi naman malaking tao, hindi rin maliit na gwardya. So, gifted eh. But I think if he can bring his weight to about 270, right now, I think he's 6'6" and 280. 10 pounds lighter. It's going to be faster and harder to defend. And it's going to pose a lot of problems sa mga makakalaban nila.
I know it's too early to tell, but of course they have a young core now. They have Lonzo Ball, they have Brandon Ingram, they still have Jrue Holiday there. It's going to be a up and down, very exciting team to watch. Do you think this team, realistically, can make it to the playoffs right away?
I believe so.
Right away?
They have a very good coach.
Right away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Ingram, Hart, and of course Ball have been earning their stripes already. At saka, ang pakiramdam ko parate, nakapaglaro ka na kasama si LeBron, nagdusa ka na in not making the playoffs, you also get hurt, ito na yung you earn your stars.
Chance to redeem yourself.
Alam mo na nothing has to be taken for granted. Now you know how hard it is to get to the playoffs. Even with one of the top players in the world in your fold, hindi sila nakarating, di ba? Nasaktan si LeBron, nasaktan sila isa-isa. And now, I think they will have to be the ones to mentor Zion Williamson early on. Kasi experience is always the best teacher, one. Number two, sumadsad na sila eh. Remember, ang bala ng mga bata when they get to the NBA is yung kumpiyansa mo eh. The overriding belief that you are among the best, if not even better than what is seen in the best league in the world. So, but once you set foot, the reality sets in na it's not easy. Pero itong mga makakasama ni Zion Williamson, naranasan na nila yan eh. And now they will work doubly harder to stay healthy and to have a winning team. And I believe this will be a playoff contender right away.
Okay. Well, we can quickly, should we be expecting a lot of lobs now in New Orleans?
Has to be.
Okay.
Alam mo, matagal na nagdusa tong franchise ito even with Anthony Davis in the roster. I think it's time to turn a new contender with the Pelicans, with a brand new roster and a new outlook. Ano, yung lottery pick na nakuha nila, parang ano to eh, parang mas bihira pa sa kidlat. Diba? So, talagang swerte talaga sila. At mahirap naman magkamali with Zion Williamson as one of the top picks. Mahirap magkamali. Can't go wrong. Even if he was hurt last year, alam mo, hindi na ituturo yung lakas eh, at hindi na i-build yung tapang. Yung dalawang attributes na yun, meron siya innate sa kanya yan.
Coach, maraming salamat again for being here on the show. Happy weekend to you, Coach. Thank you. I will see you again. We just had Sports Desk Basketball analyst, the one and only point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc.